What's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my thoughts on Season 3 of Lucifer while it was still airing on Fox. Yes, I finally just finished all, 26 episodes of the third season. Well, 24, but the 2 bonus episodes included, which were kind of part of non-existent Season 4 now. But I also did just finish the Netflix Season 4 as well. I just got so into it, I kept going, so hence the delay in talking about Season 3 as I caught up on it. My review of the Netflix 4th season will probably be out. I plan on doing it maybe sometime tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, 26 episodes overall once they put those 2 other episodes in. And it was a stretch. I mean, I don't think really any show has to have that long of a season. But Lucifer made the most of it. I mean, I still found it to be a very entertaining season. I honestly really fell in love with the show in a way that I wasn't planning on. I mean, I always liked Lucifer, and when it was canceled, I felt bad about it. I tweeted "Save Lucifer" with everyone else. And then, I was like at the tail end of Season 1 when that happened. Then when I heard it was actually going to be brought back, I started watching Season 2, and I really, really liked it. And then with Motor City Comic Con coming up in Michigan, Tom Ellis being there, Ann-Brandt, D.B. Woodside, I started rushing with the Netflix season coming out to catch it, and I absolutely love the show now. And I really, really like Season 3. It was overly long. Things were padded out. The cast acknowledged that. They sort of just had to make the most of such a large episode order. They had to do sort of more offshoot things. But the show handles its humor well, and sometimes you like those more bottle episodes, or more, I don't want to say bottle, well, yeah, kind of. But the cast just has such excellent and fun chemistry together, it wasn't really that difficult to get through. One issue that comes with it, though, is that Lucifer and Chloe, Tom Ellis and, of course, Lauren German, they have such fine chemistry together. I remember tweeting about it after the first episode of the first season a few years ago, which was actually seen by Lauren German, which was really cool. But yeah, they have such great chemistry on screen together, and they have plenty of sweet, really, really nice, touching moments throughout the season. But they never go for it. And so when you have a long season, it feels a bit played out, a bit repetitive. Like, oh, that would have been a great moment for them to finally. And then they almost do, they kind of do, but then they don't, and it becomes a bit tedious, and that sort of continued into Season 4, sort of remained one of my issues. But they still make the emotions feel fairly real for what it is, I think, and I still really like their dynamic this season. While we're on the subject, another thing that came to that was sort of a love triangle. Of course, I thought Tom Welling being introduced as Marcus Pierce, who we later find out, I'm sure you've all seen Season 3 by now. I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you haven't. But, he's introduced as the new Lieutenant Marcus Pierce, but he's also the actual, Cain, Cain and Abel. And, of course, it was a big deal because this is one of Tom Welling's first, really TV regular roles since Smallville, I think. And I think he did quite well here, actually. I actually ended up liking him quite a bit in the show. Like I say, he did sort of serve as part of a love triangle with Chloe and Lucifer, though, and that was a bit frustrating. But in a way, I honestly wouldn't mind if his character sort of remained around, because he eventually fit in pretty well. But then, of course, the story takes a turn, and you're eager to see the whole Mark resolved and everything like that. So, I liked his place on the show. And he also had an episode like God Johnson with the actor who actually played Cain in the show Supernatural. And I thought he would be a good fit for the actual God on the show if they were ever going to show him. But he turns out just to, be, again, just someone sort of believing in this whole belt thing. But it was still, God Johnson was still a pretty fun episode, I thought. And then he had an episode like Mr. and Mrs. Mazikeen Smith. And, Maze is just incredible, of course. And I liked her pairing with the, not the spy, but... Rivers. Rivers was his name. I actually kind of liked them together. I was hoping they would have brought him back in Season 4. He ends up warning her about, certain people out to get her as well, which turns out to be tied to the center man, which is, Pierce. But that didn't quite happen that way, but I still liked it as, again, one of those individual episodes I might not get as much of anymore with the shorter seasons, which there's pros and cons to. And again, I'm a big fan of Ella Lopez as well, Amy Garcia. I've loved her since George Lopez. I loved her on Dexter. She's just such an instantly likable person, and I just love her as the forensics analyst on the show. She just brings a really energetic lightness to it all, and at the same time she still feels like a real character. So she's actually one of my favorites now as well. And then in one of the bonus episodes, which I should bring up now, was actually pretty damn centered around her. It was called Boo Normal, and the story actually ties back to her childhood. She talks about these voices in her head. She mentioned that at one point very early in the season, and I was actually happy to see they had an episode to not resolve that, but sort of explain it, and I really like the exploration of the character. There's almost an episode that sort of came off like a Weekend at Bobby's type of episode from Supernatural, and I think they should do exactly that with Ella. She's just that entertaining for me. So I like that, exploration of her character. And while we're talking about the battle episodes, the other one is Once Upon a Time, which is pretty fun. It was if Lucifer and Chloe never met, or if they had met under very different circumstances, will they still come together? They pretty much do. It was still a fun little, again, offshoot episode to see. Although it is kind of awkward to watch right after the actual season finale of Devil of My Word, which is just such an amazing, story, high point episode. Still one of, if not the best episode of the series. So it's kind of awkward to watch these two bonus episodes after that. Like I said, I guess that took place during season 4, which didn't come to fruition on Fox. So I don't know. I'm not sure when I'd watch it. I'd just say maybe watch up to 24, Devil of My Word, maybe take a break, and if you feel like watching Lucifer, not diving into the main story again yet, watch those two bonus episodes, or skip them, watch season 4, then maybe watch them as just sort of like an extra enjoyment kind of thing if you're a big fan of it, which I am. But yeah, I watched it all the way through, straight up like that. But yeah, and again, that actual finale though, Devil of My Word, such an incredible episode. Tom Ellis's acting reaches an all-time high. The emotion with Chloe, his wings coming out, such an epic moment coming in, just taking out Pierce's men and killing Pierce himself. And then of course at the end we get sort of our Dexter moment. Not really, but Chloe ends up seeing Lucifer's devil face finally after all this time. Which would have been a very frustrating cliffhanger if the show had never been saved by Netflix. Luckily it was, so we do get to see what happens after that. And I think it's pretty likely the show will probably see a season 5 on Netflix as well, but we'll talk more about that when I review the new season 4 in a day or so. But yeah, I really loved this season. Also, Amenadiel sort of struggling with his own sense of purpose. At first he thinks he's failed for so long, and eventually ties into the confirmed idea that Lucifer's wings, his wings are sort of tied to sort of their own belief in themselves, how they see themselves, what they're feeling with what they've done. So I think it's a great sort of combination of that and what they actually are. So you get that, and then you get another funny episode of it's called What Would Lucifer Do? So Amenadiel starts trying to act like Lucifer in pretty cringy fashion. So I really like that. And you also got to talk about Charlotte Richards. Of course, we see Teresa Helfer come back, not as the mother, but sort of just this lost person, sort of having flashes of what their mother had done while she was in her body, and so she's struggling with that, her connection to Dan. And unfortunately she ends up being killed. She actually ends up taking a bullet for Amenadiel. And you get actually a pretty beautiful closing scene of Amenadiel flying her up to heaven, literally. So that was pretty good. I mean, they didn't overdo it with keeping Charlotte around. I actually think she found her niche on the show without being the mother of all, or whatever you want to say. Then Dan himself, do I have a picture of him set here? No, apparently not. But I actually got to really like Dan, even in season 2, actually. He still doesn't like Lucifer, but you can tell he kind of likes hanging out with them, or he's kind of getting a kick out of it to some extent. That kind of takes a nosedive in season 4, but I kind of like their dynamic together. He's a pretty enjoyable character too. This thing with Charlotte, you know, it's a bit toxic, a bit give and take, but he eventually grows to really care about her. So that part was fine too. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more about the season I could talk about. Like I said, it was a bit long. I don't think really any show has to be 26 episodes long, so that was a weakness for it. But I still thought, like, from a story perspective, maybe season 2 was a bit stronger, a bit more concentrated. Although you can make the argument for 3 as well. But on like a fun factor and just like general entertainment level, I think season 3 might have been it for me so far. And I'll give you my thoughts on season 4 once I talk about that again on the next day or so. But overall, not completely perfect because of its own length, which the work sort of forced them into. But I'm giving Lucifer season 3, the last season they had on Fox, a B+ or an 89%. So yeah, let me guys talk about the 3rd season of Lucifer. How does it compare to the others for you? Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.